Hi guys, Tiffany here. So, um, I'll talk while I'm doing this. I've been working on this little site, just build it and see what happens kind of projects. So I'm building it and I'm seeing what happens while I'm building it. So I just got this random blob in my head that says it's gotta come out and it's gotta come out now. Because, or not. And yeah, so it's gotta come out. Sorry, I'm trying to get this going. I can't concentrate on two things at once. Maybe that's why the cool thing works, because once I'm doing it, I can't concentrate on anything else. But I need to record this process. It's because if it turns out the way I'm thinking it's going to turn out, it's going to be awesome, and you guys might just want to make it too. But that would mean I'd have to do this all over. We could probably try it again. It's a little bit on the complicated side. It won't look it, but the prepping and the cutting is. Um, it's a little bit harder to do, and yeah, we're just gonna get this going, and I gotta turn this volume down, and I have, hi Sandy, I didn't even see it, it barely just went on. Okay, so I'm gonna put this thing to the side on a charger, because it will die, and I have to cut out 93 1.5 inch strips. I'm just gonna cut a bunch to start with. I doubt I'll be at 93, but we'll see. So let's get this going. My idea needs to come out of my head, like, totally. So I'm using a cream, and I'm just going to step over here to do so. And I have a lot of yardage, and I'm going to assume that if I just undo the whole thing, I could probably cut more time. So to set that down, holy moly, I have 5 yards of this stuff. I'm just going to cut lots at a time. I might even just fold it up 4 times. This is totally not 5 yards anymore, though. I've been using it up. It was 5 yards before I started. So this is just me messing around. Let me grab my phone in a second, and I'll be able to see the comments. I think I'm just going to move the charger to a different location so that I can see it better. And I'm going to cut a lot of layers. I know people don't recommend cutting a bunch of layers, but I'm kind of trying to do this quick. And I do pretty good with lots of layers, so if I could just get it to line up at the end, stay straight. Hi, Michelle. Alright. You are blessed. What are you blessed with? A smoke? Because that's what you're having and I'm not. I had already went on before you typed that down earlier. I was already doing this. But I had smoked like an hour ago. And I was like trying to just come to the conclusion on what I'm going to do with this. And I needed the color idea to be my thoughts to come to life, you know? Alright, so let's grab this. I'm hoping you guys can see me in this position. It looks like you can, so I'm just going to bring this over, making sure I'm getting all these layers. They're all on the line. Let's chop this up. I'm going to add a weight to it just to hold it in place. I usually do add my weight, but I can hold it pretty good. And I have to come on this side to make my first cut, because this is a lot of layers with my left hand. Look at this table, boy, crazy. Yep, I just made a big, huge mess. There we go. Alright. Alright, here we go. Let's see if I can cut all these like this. but that's okay. I'll live for a little bit. And if I get, what is the word for it? This is my quilting life. So if I feel like going out for a smoke in a little while, I could probably do so. I'm just trying to, I really want to record this process, because if it comes out the way I'm hoping, like I said in the beginning, then it looks like I'm going to chop myself up, but I'm not. Maybe I shouldn't have chose to cut so many layers at a time. I think I'm going to knock myself down, because there's too many layers. I was trying to do this fast and easy. I'll just move this out of the way. Cut a bunch of 1.5s real quick. Oh, stay up here so I can see you guys. So I can see you guys. Alright. That's better. I don't need the weight now. And my line, I hate when that happens. My line got crooked. Now I got to straighten it back up. It's like if I try to cut too many layers at once. Oh, are you serious? I hate this table. This table sucks really bad. Can't wait to be out in the garage where I have a table that doesn't move from underneath me. Yes, this is in my head, and I already started the most of it, and then I changed my mind through it, and now I'm putting my mind change to life. Alright, here we go. That's faster. I wish I could even do it faster, but my, the thing that my mom got me, this ruler and rotary cutter in one, I cannot use it in here, because the dip in the table doesn't allow the ruler, the metal piece, to lay flat, so it does not cut. So I can't use it till I go in the garage, but once I can, that probably will save me a lot of time. Just slide it over and cut, slide it over and cut. I don't know how many pieces I'm at, and I'm just going to keep cutting until I have a big, huge pile, I guess. All this cutting, I'm probably going to have to change my blade again soon, because I just changed it. It's kind of getting heavy. Super heavy. Ugh. Don't want it to fall. Right. There we go. So, how's everyone doing tonight? Yeah, I would go out in the garage and play with it, but I should have did that, but it's still really hot out there, and it was very humid all day, so the garage is very humid right now, which kind of sucks because of all my fabric out there. Alright, roll this back some now. Bring it up, oops, stay. This way, go this way. Stay in line. I'm hoping this is the right amount. I did the math. I didn't do the measurements part, but I did the math part. I didn't measure the first part of what I was doing, but oh well. This is my guess from experience, I guess. hate when that happens too, and it don't cut. It's gonna be one big ass, oops, big stack. I can't stop saying the word. So what are you guys doing tonight? Anybody sewing? Like me? And if so, what you sewing? Oh, and when you're cutting strips like this, if it starts to get crooked, just start a new line. Of course, mine isn't crooked yet, but if it does get crooked, like I did, then start a new line. That always helps. I don't know what I'm at number-wise yet. Laying in bed, I might end up going to sleep. Ooh! Sounds like fun, although I can't sleep, so that's not fun. But for you, it should be good. I'm working on that amazing photos. I'm not going to look at them tonight, but I'm not going to talk about the blocks. Well, maybe taking a break is a good thing, getting some sleep, and then going back and getting it done. I can't right now, not on this, because I'm like, if I don't, I won't remember what I was doing, and I wrote some of it down, but if I don't, like, do something, then I'll forget. I definitely don't want to forget. That is definitely not 90 pieces yet. Okay, I'm going to make a new cut right here, because yes, I left my blade open. By the way, I'm trying to do this, and I don't really care right now. This is my alone time with myself. There are no kids here. I can get back to what I was doing. New cut right here. Kind of got off just a little. Not a little. It is a little, but I'm cutting a bigger amount. Stay. So you finished the brown one I saw, Sandy. Looks good. A quilt for yourself. That's why I did a quilt for myself finally, but since mine is going to a quilt show, I'm probably going to make something else just to have one for my bed for now. Because if my other one goes to the quilt show, I won't be able to do anything with it for now. That's okay. I have so many things that run through my head that any project will be a quick bed quilt for me. I'm only on day 3 of this one, so maybe tomorrow I can get the top completed. I'll be going out of town next week, so I won't have time to do any of this. So I can't quilt while I'm out of town, which sucks, but whatever. Well, I probably could if I brought stuff with me. My mom has a sewing machine at her house. She has more than one, I think. I think she has a serger and something else. Maybe she could teach me how to make some clothes while I'm there. It's nice. It turned out nice. I like what you did. I definitely would love to make that block. Are you kidding me? I gotta straighten this one more time. Stay lined up. Stay lined up. Let me do it from this side. I have a better view of my board that way. Should have cut all these first and then went live, but I guess you guys want to see every once in a while how I cut things up. Yeah, Michelle, what are you working on right now? Does this look like it's 93 pieces yet? And if I cut more than I need, I guess I'll just use it all in a different project. For strip piece of some sort. And I just remembered your fabric that you did your brown quilt with, Sandy. Didn't that come from Michelle? Michelle, didn't you send that to her? I just thought about that. That's one of Michelle's stuff that she had. It's pretty colors. All these cuts in my table and my mat is just making my mat worse and worse. I don't think I've ever cut this many strips. I think I'm going to stop right here and just start sewing together. Cut as I go if I get further down, because that seems like a whole lot. But you never know, I might actually need that much. I'm just going to lay this right here temporarily. Alright, let's move this out of the way. Okay. Now I need to sew them. I need to sew them in sets of 3. Trying to keep this together in the order that it was. I have this pile behind me on my bed, and it's all the stuff. I'm wondering if 2 of these would work though. Oh, seriously? Not 2? Okay. So they're being sewn in rows of 3, I guess. Let me put this right here. Let's see. Is it the, I sure do appreciate it too. It's a nice quote. It's supposed to be she. I understand usually when there's word mess ups. I always have word mess ups. Oh, and for other people that end up watching later, I don't know what happened or why everyone did not get a notification that I was on. But Sandy, did you get a notification that I came on this time? Because I went into the settings on my husband's computer, which took forever to do, and I read this, read that, looked at this, looked at that. I don't even know what button I clicked or how I clicked or anything if I was supposed to click. But it was saying sometimes it's the other people, but it couldn't be if everybody didn't get one, you know, so I'm not sure. And I totally forgot that I need to trim all these. I think I'm just going to do it with scissors, though. Or I can just make a medium stack right here. Look at me, I'm just out of everything. I'm just going crazy. Going crazy tonight. Crazy. This is such a large file. You know, I'm thinking I can get away with 2.5 instead of 3 strips per. So cut half of them in half. I think that's what I'm going to do. Because that strip is like pretty much almost. It's like right at the bottom. I'm just going to try to cut all these off at once, by the way, is what I'm doing. But I'm talking about the selvage, by the way. So I don't want to leave them in. Sometimes, it depends on the fabric, I'd leave a selvage in. It just depends because it shrinks differently, or it don't shrink. And then the fabric gets messed up. So it all just depends on the fabric. Oh, so yeah. I don't know what's wrong with my notifications, guys. For those of you watching tomorrow, I don't know why it's not going off. Kind of sucks. Not really. There's replay. Having replay, I'm gonna sit down and do this. Having replay kind of makes it a little bit more convenient, you know. So if you guys don't get a notification and nobody sees me on, at least there's replay. I would rather have made videos, but my tablet is not finished uploading. My empty. It's not finished emptying. I'm on day. I think it's been 4 days since I started emptying all the data off of my tablet, and I tried refreshing it, and it's still actually uploading to see, and yeah, it's still going, all on its own. I think it's just because there's like, you know. There was like 5,000 or 6,000 files that I was trying to get rid of onto a different thing. So it's a lot of stuff. Did Michelle leave? I haven't seen a comment. She's probably sewing. Anyway, so I'm just stacking my 1.5 inch strips so I can cut all the selvages off. And then I'm going to take a bunch of them and I'm going to cut them in half. And some of them I only need half of. Yeah, I should have, I don't know, I don't feel whatever to lay down. I wish I felt that way, but I'm not ready. It's not, my head is not ready to shut down yet because this will not leave my head. And then if I move this off my bed from that order, I'm totally not going to remember it. And I usually write things down or pin a little note. I wrote some things down, but as I was going, that way I would remember. Once I make something, though, I usually remember the next time to make it, you know, if I'm going to make it again. So oh my goodness, this is the slow part, I guess, of prepping. I totally should have just did this separately, but if this all turns right and it goes to the person that I'm thinking about giving it to, then they will appreciate the work that goes into it by watching a video of me putting the work into it. Didn't see the other part of the work, but that was a lot of work too. Alright, I'm just going to cut all these for now. check it out. Big, huge pile of selvages. Alright, the rest I'll cut off in a little bit. Let's just move that out of the way and scoop myself over and do some more stuff. I'm just going to bring all these to me just like this. A good way to re-put stacks back together is to take them like this, hook them all together, shake them up, and draw your hand down the side. Should line everything right back up again. Some of them end up turning, but as long as they're all laying the direction I need. Okay. So start with them like this. I'm going to take two and put two together, and I'm just going to chain piece this whole entire pile. And I'm going to right sides together them. And the way I know that they're right sides together is this crease from being on the bolt will be sticking up and down to each other. So it would be creating a little thing. So since this one sticks up, this little crease will go down. That's how I know they're right sides together. That way it keeps the same, the look and feel of the fabric on the same sides that it's supposed to be on. So we're just going to keep taking two, putting two together. Every two. So that's how I'm making just a big, huge pile. I'm not flipping them over and making them long because I only need a little bit more for each. I don't even think I need a half, honestly. It's probably just going to be like a quarter's worth. I'll probably cut them in fours. But yeah, I'm going to keep these all together, and this is what chain piecing is. Just throw them out of the way. Grab another two. Making sure this end crease is down when I place it on top of the other one, so that keeps them right sides together. I'm just going to slide each of them out of the way, grabbing another one, so that one peaks. This peak is up, this next peak will be down. Didn't even press any of this, so. But I'll press it all when it gets put together. That's how it works for me. Especially when I'm trying to get something out of my head. For those watching later, when you're trying to get something out of your head, I would just say go for it, keep going until you are completely finished. I hope this turns out the way I'm seeing it. I'm envisioning something. I'm hoping that the envision is what I, think it is. I have done a few that the vision just wasn't what I thought it was. And those are sitting in piles, in boxes and tubs. Because they never come out right. You know what, Sandy? Go to bed. Go to bed, woman. I'm serious. You don't have to stay up just because I'm up, and you don't have to stay up just to watch the video, because that's just dumb. I mean, if you want to fall asleep to my voice, but my voice is kind of not that soothing at all. I always thought I sounded like a boy. I have a deep voice for a girl, so yeah, I don't think I have that kind of voice that puts people to sleep. Unless you want me to hum. I usually hum when I'm sewing by myself, but I hum to the music. don't even think you can hear me humming, especially over the machine. Alright, we're getting close to the bottom of this little pile, and then we're going to start from the middle and work my way out, is pretty much what I'm going to do. That way, I can, I'm not even going to press these seams because they're going to land in another seam probably. Yeah, I skip a lot of steps when I'm trying to get something out of my head. But I try to keep as accurate as possible with the actual things, but I skip the pressing, and I skip this, and I skip that. You know, I don't bother pinning. Actually, I don't bother pinning most of the time. I only pin if I absolutely have to. That's why I don't have a ton of pins. I just have a little amount of pins. And 90% of the time, they just sit right there. Just in case I need them. The only time I actually pin is when I'm pinning the number and order of the row onto the row so that I can remember when I'm making rows. That's about the only time I pin. I definitely need to get this out of my head though, because if I don't, then I'm going to change my mind another time, and then it's going to end up in a box, and I can't let it go into a box. I just can't do it. No more boxes for my stuff. No more boxes. It's all got to come out. I have a whole, like, big pile of things out there that I hope that someday I can just finish, because they're 100% supposed to be awesome, but somehow or somewhere along the way they just weren't what I hoped. I'm just going to just assume. There's me skipping a step. Screw it. I'll just assume that that's the seam. You don't have to give me the company, because see, Michelle is back on, and either way, Michelle and I are both, have MS, so we are both severe insomniacs, and we actually just will talk to each other and on face-to-face time thingy, and we've done that until, like, I don't know, Michelle, it was like, what, from 11 p.m. until 4 a.m. or something. No, it was not 4 a.m. because the sun was already up. It was like 8 a.m. because the kids had already went off to school and everything that day. We talk a lot. Alright, this is the fast part. Clipping these apart. And then I'm just going to grab from each one and add as I set these aside. Oh no, I have to add a half to each end. Ah! Alright, so I'm going to cut these up into... I'm wondering if I should just hook these all together with a strip and just cut as I go. You know what? That might just be so much easier for me. Make just one big huge strand and cut as I go. That is just a better idea. So let's grab one, add one, grab one, add one. How's that? Let's do it that way. So grab one, add one. That's what I'm going to do. Screw it. Let's make it even easier. There's so much here. I am sewing 1.5 inch strips, and I have just randomly changed my mind and decided to sew them all end to end, because some of them need to be, these strips, they're not equaling the length of what I'm doing, so I'm going to just hook them all together. because I need like a half, not even a half, a quarter of a strip per every end. So I'm just going to make a really, 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 really long. Like, this is going to be longer than typical average binding. I'm just going to keep hooking them together. Right side down. I want to get to the next part of doing this, so I got to get at least some of these situated so that I can start adding this stuff. Go down there. On my lap. That'll work. Put that there. And I'm skipping so many steps, Michelle, you wouldn't believe. I'm just sewing. What, am I really, really funny? Because I'm skipping steps, or because I just throwing things around and randomly doing something that I have no idea what I'm doing? Maybe my wonderful, loving fans will realize that there is a method to my madness here. There's a method to my madness. For real. I'm telling you. My fingers are swollen tonight, so my ring is not, it's like getting stuck in the swelling towards my pinky finger, and it's kind of hurting. Yes, and the end result of this, my brain end result is amazing. The actual quilt top, we will only see. I don't know. Sometimes what I do when I just do this whole winging it thing comes out amazing. And then sometimes my winging it looks like poop. That's what I was telling Sandy earlier. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it turns into one of those boxes, Michelle, that I have shown you in my sewing space. It turns into a disaster that I don't want to touch ever again. I will, though, just because I got to finish some stuff. See this big, huge disaster? This is going to be one long, really, really, really long strip. Like, I don't think I've ever made strips this long. My foot is like spasming right now. Good thing it's not my sewing foot, it's my plantar fasciitis foot. The bad one that always annoys me. I was doing it right now. I think it's because of the position I'm sitting or something. Okay. Sandy, just go to bed, woman. Go to bed. Go to bed. That's my Dr. Tiffany Coulter sewing suggestion. I'm prescribing you sleep. Yep, that's what I'm doing. I'm prescribing you sleep. And anybody else who's super tired. Well, I can't prescribe it to myself, unfortunately. But I can always pass it to everyone else. Yes, I know I'm silly, Michelle, because I know you're going to say that. So, good night, Sandy. Oh, man. Can't wait for you to, you can't wait, Michelle, to see the rest of these pieces. You kind of saw some of what I was doing, but you can't actually see the colors. But you will soon enough. Yeah, I'm more than really awake, and I haven't even been to bed. And I'm on 2.5 days right now because I slept a little bit. Not yesterday, but the day before. I didn't sleep yesterday or last night. Not my fault, but you know that one. It's not either of our faults. It just so happens to happen that way, and it sucks. At least I'm accomplishing something during this super awake time. Oh, I'm accomplishing getting covered in thread. My shirt is like static to thread right now, this shirt specifically. Of course, I do have another shirt that's 100% static to this stuff, and I use it when I quilt out in the garage, and I don't realize it, but I get all sorts of little everythings on it. Alright, so I'm going to skip the step of pressing all this, because I'm just anxious to sew. So where'd my little snips go? Let's snip all this apart, and when I get to the big end, we will find it and start using it from there. Alright, so let's make this brain idea come to life. Okay. We want this end to stay right up here. So we are going to just lay this guy right on top of it. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. Let's start with not this end piece. I need to put this back the way it was. Alright. We're going to start with, we sew to the right usually, so let's start with this one and this one. Okay, so what we're going to do is knock this down and knock this down, and I am going to separate. This is where the seam ripping comes in play. I am going to seam rip this seam right here. And hopefully, Michelle, remember I told you the name that I'm going to name this. Hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm talking about within the first, I don't know, 10 strips. First 10 strips, see how I said that one? Okay. So now I'm going to pull these apart right here. And I'm going to toss that way up there, because that's the starting point. And this one is going to be the same thing. I'm going to pick it. Oh yeah, this is tubed. These are tubes. That's why I'm picking, by the way. I made tubes. I changed my mind on a stack and flip. That was where my mind changed. I was going to do a weird stack and flip, and then I was like, nah, I need something else. This is just, there was too much. I needed to do something else with it. So this is an extra step, but you know what? It's going to be beautiful. Let me tell you. Alright, toss that up there. Now, what we're going to do is leave the seam ripper there. Is it really clear? Can you actually see the colors that I'm using? Well, you're going to see it right now. So I'm going to come up here with this. I'm going to lay this strip just like so. And then I'm going to take this one and make sure that it is the right way. And I am going to, oh, you know what, I need to start with the other one, because that one's from that side and this one's from this side. They are typically from the same side, from the same thing, and I'm trying to keep that part as best as possible. So back up here, we'll start with this one. So I'm keeping The blue is at the top. And we are going to connect this guy to the right side of it. Come right up here. I'm glad. You know, it's because I have the internet booster on. I literally have on that screen, the last time I looked at it, it was 4 full bars. Or 5. This one doesn't right now. I don't know why this one doesn't. But the other one does. So, I'm glad it's a full, nice, clear picture. Alright, here we go. This is going to be a really long scene here. So I'm just laying my piece on here, right side together, and I'm just lining it and sewing it. Not stretching, not pulling, no tugging. I'm trying not to allow my pieces to flip because the pressing goes a specific way, although that's not going to matter now. The pressing part ain't going to matter. I'm just going to keep flying down this. And by the way, this is a 2.5 inch strip from a tube. Oh, are you kidding me? I always hate when I press that stupid thing. Sewing a 1/4 inch. Oh, and look, it didn't even line up on that thing. I guess it's not going to matter. What's going to matter is when I line up both sides, because that's going to be the hard part. It's making sure they're equal. So what are you working on tonight, Michelle? See, here's a seam right here. I needed literally that much more. So not even 1/4 more. That's why I decided to just go a long strip. It'll compensate for itself in the end probably. So I'm going to go ahead and just eyeball trim this. And yes, that just took me forever to cut. Don't know why. Alright. Radio layback tapers. Interesting. Alright, let's keep that end up there. Put that to hold it down. My scissors just fell on the floor and literally went like this into my foot. It's a good thing they didn't go into my foot. They went next, like on the top of the foot, but landed just right. Alright, so I'm just going to finger press this whole entire thing in. I know pressing to the light is not a good thing, but I need to be able to lay the other piece on here and line it up just right, so now you're able to at least see some of the colors that are in here. I know that everybody hates that sound. Should have went and got my nails done. Where's my little bit there? Every once in a while that pokes through. Stay. Bird's quilt pattern. No seam matching. I know I went through all that pressing and stuff in between, but I'm thinking it might change as I'm doing it. I'm thinking of doing the next part, obviously, because I changed my mind, obviously. The only thing I'm going to do to try to match, so I'm going to lay this one right now. on top of here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that when I do this, when I sew this on here, I'm going to hold that seam on top of this and on top of this. If it feels flat, then I know, because they're still opposite of each other. So if it feels flat, I'm pretty sure the opposite is lined up. And since it's only going to finish as a 1-inch strip, it's not going to be, if there's one just slightly below, it's actually not going to noticeable because there is a sash in between it. So let me go down this side now. And since I can feel that, it's sitting just right. Normally I wouldn't sew with this piece on the top, but this is a way for me to feel the outer sides of the seam, making sure they're sitting properly. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'm just literally feeling the top of the fabric. And I'm just going to make sure every seam is lying nice and flat. That's how I know they're going to come out straight, right next to each other, like they should be, without being next to each other. This one I'll probably take just an extra minute to do, so that way I can make sure that it's lining up just right. Try not to sew over my fingers while I'm at it. Actually, yep, I'm going to change my mind while I'm doing it for the next pieces. Yep, I just thought about that. It's still going to be awesome though. I am thinking about it. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. Mind changing. It happens a lot with me. Sitting flat. These are sitting flat. Beautifully flush. Wow. Just like that. Wow. Nice. Nice. That's what I want. This is a pretty long seam. Really long seam. When we do the Bargello, it won't be these long of seams. It'll be half. Lay it on my lap now so I can make sure all these are ready. Everything I make is awesome. Not everything, Michelle. Some things I nitpick them and then I stop. So not everything comes out the way it should, but not everybody is interested in the kind of stuff I make either, you know? This is my modern interpretation of what's going on in my head. You know what I mean? This piece kind of got off just a little from being a strip. It's such a big strip tube. I mean, it's fine. It's not going to be horrible. For the purpose that what it's going to be for, if it turns out the way I'm hoping, then I'm pretty sure it will be 100% loved and used a lot. And that's the one. It comes right to the end, just like it's supposed to. It's so awesome. You're the only one with me, huh, Michelle? If you're the only one with me, Michelle, you don't mind watching me press then, do you? I want to make sure that this is pressed just right. That way I can show everyone the best example possible of how this works. So, I'm going to bring this thing over to the iron. If I can find a way to sit this. Can you see me over there at the iron? Ugh. There, we'll just do this. There we go. That way it's video documented. I'm on the pressing just of this piece for a minute. So here's the strip so far. You see how long this thing is? There it is. So it's about 7 feet tall. My ceilings are 8 foot, so this is almost the ceiling if I hold it just right. Alright, I'm just going to press this real quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fingers to pull it out for anybody who wants to know. Squeaking is going to make some noise, so don't mind squeak for a moment. I want this to stay as straight as possible. Finger pressing really helps. Alright. So far, let me tip the camera back down. And I'll lay this right up here like this. So I can go through the colors. Okay. Put it down. I still want you guys to see my face though when I'm talking. I hate when you can't see my face and my head gets cut off. Oh, that sucks so bad. Well, it's almost an hour, so I guess the start. Maybe I should have cut all those pieces first because that's what took me so long. Okay, so here's all the pretty colors. So we got blues, we got greens, grays. Then it switches from grays into browns with that cream. And you know, surprisingly, see, if you look straight across, it's about right here. See this? It starts, this piece is kind of sideways, but then they line back up again. It's just because of the way, it's because of the way they were folded when I did the strips. So, I mean, there's a couple of them, like this one right here. It's just the way it ended up folded. That's why I usually don't do such long pieces, but I did this time, so. Alright. So let's add the next piece. What we're going to do is I'm going to grab this one. Okay, so if this is going to be kind of stepping stone Bargello style. I can't call it Bargello style because it's stepping stone down because they're 2.5 inch strips. So if this is the top right here, I want this to come to the bottom. So I'm going to take it apart right here at this piece. Once it's taken apart, all I have to do is sew it back up to that piece. And we'll flop it. And the seams should all match because they are all pressed opposite of each other, and I'm moving it one up. So this is pretty much what we'll be doing with the Bargello, but only in a skinnier, bigger, skinnier, bigger, skinnier, bigger form. Alright, so here we go. This one's going to go here, just like this. Should have went one down instead. Oh well. It'll look cool. It'll look cool no matter what I do. And see, the seams are all pressed different ways, so they're all going to nest, every single one of them. Which is what I love about doing it this way. Okay, so let's take this all the way down, and then I'll press it. I'm just going to nest all these seams as I get to them. No pinning involved. Just nesting with my fingers. I'm going to try to put this big huge thing on my lap though. Alright. So let's just hold it and go, hold it and go. And these are now being sewn with the strips on the straight of grain, so they are not stretching. They're just nesting right up to each other in perfect harmony. Some of them I have to manipulate just a little because, like I said, the cuts did not come out perfect because I did such a long strip. After I get these next done, then I'll put another strip between the next size, the next step, which is size. Oh, I keep hitting the bottom of that stupid pedal. At least I'm not cussing about it. I get so frustrated when I hit that. I was going to put a cream in between every single one, but I don't think I'm going to now. And all this extra, I will just put in my stash, and anything extra from this, I will add to it if I need to, will become a flange binding. I'm thinking ahead of the game. See? Or it can be borders or anything. I'm thinking flange binding now. Because then I could teach a flange binding, you know? It's not very hard. It's just 2 strips of 2 different colors. Yep. And the idea of teaching it might work because the Quilting Marine wants to do flange binding on all the quilts that are being quilted for the newest missions. So technically I could probably just teach it and yeah, that'll work out perfect. So whatever's left over can just be a flange binding. I've done it a few times now and it looks super cute on quilts. Actually, I think my mom's quilt got a flange binding too. Yeah, I did, because I did it in dark and light purple. That's what I did. Pretty sure I did. On her log cabin quilt is the one I'm talking about. best thing to do with these is to never pull when you're sewing like this with these cut down from strips. The strips being cut is because when you pick them apart, all these, and you cut them apart, all these seams become super, super, super fragile, and they want to fall apart because now there's barely a stitch holding or tying off that edge, so now they're just open. But as soon as you sew this 1/4 inch seam, it seals it back off again. So there's a method to the madness behind making this like this. Alright, let me go press this open. Not open, back. Pressing it back. I'm going to kind of heat it up just a little. I'm just going to fold it back. Nice and carefully. Alright, I'm just going to lay it up here. This is in half, obviously, but you can see that they're stepped up. So I'm going to do it 6 times, 6 or 7 times on each side. So I'm going to just go with the next one, but I think I'm just going to, because it's been an hour, I'm going to go off for a little while and then I'll sew some more and come back with more sewn. So, Michelle, since you're the only one on, we can just get off and talk separately. So since it's been an hour, I will stop myself, but I will work on it anyway and get more built so that I can give you more of an idea of what I'm attempting here. So, I may have made a big mess with fabric, but you know what? I'm pretty sure this is going to be awesome. I see awesomeness. It's there. It's going to come out. It's going to explode. So, alright, so for anybody else, like and subscribe. Hit the little ding-ling down below. It gives you a notification every time I'm on live or post a video, but right now it's all live. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching me build from my brain. There's nothing mathematical to this madness in my brain. I'm just kind of going with the flow, and whatever happens, happens. So, alright. Thank you for watching. Michelle, I'll talk to you in a second, and bye for now, everyone.